Now, there's one really important point I want to make after going through a number of these finishes from a single leg. As I've been demonstrating them, I've been going from a fairly static position, almost presuming basically that my partner has stopped my initial momentum. And as I was talking about those finishes, I may even have given the impression that I'm hanging out here hoping that my opponent or my partner is going to be able to simply just move on his own in a favorable position for me to finish the single leg. And that's untrue. What I really want to do is, one, when I go in on the single, I want to have my root finish, which most typically, for me, and that may not be for you, but for me, is to drive through and chop so that I've got all that momentum going through my opponent. If then I get stopped for one reason or another, either my attack wasn't that great, my opponent was able to defend in some way so that I wasn't able to keep the motion going through him, at that point I need to be able to go to an alternative finish. But that being said, it's crucial that I'm the one being active and I'm manipulating my opponent's position. So I'm not just hanging out here. My goal is to finish as quickly as I can. It's not satisfactory just to be hanging out, again, hoping my partner or opponent's going to move in a favorable position. I want to create it, I want to finish, and I want to do all that very quickly. And I'm probably going to need to chain several of these type of things together. For example, if I tried to come out in front after I shot on Colby here, and I popped here, and this isn't going to happen now. At that point, I might consider a dump. So it's back and forth. And if you think about where his weight is, the type of techniques I'm going to use when his weight is over his foot or to the outside versus his weight being inside, and you can remember that you want to typically go back and forth from those type of attacks or those type of finishes, you'll be all the better for that because you'll be able to switch back and forth. For example, if for some reason if Colby was pushing into me here and his weight is out, and then I try a dump type position here and he hops in, that gives me the opportunity for that technique where I step behind, block, and pop with my head. So things are going back and forth. I'm not just hanging out. If I feel Colby pushing my head, I resist and I come up. So that's crucial that you understand that you need to be the active principal there and you need to manipulate your opponent. And you can do that simply by popping his head to get him to move, push it, coming through. So you need to create the action. That's crucial. So again, while I went fairly slowly in terms of this is what you do in this position, this is what you do in that position, it's important that you realize that this is all off of movement, in fact, and that there are very few times where I'd just be camping out or hanging out. That would be dangerous and unfavorable for me because in all likelihood my partner, my opponent, is going to be able to regroup successfully and to be able to defend my single.